The strange thing about overthinking is that it often waits until we are finally still. You can spend the whole day feeling tired. You finish your work, brush your teeth, turn off the lights, and get into bed. But the moment your head touches the pillow, your mind suddenly wakes up. Old conversations come back. Tomorrow's worries get louder. A small mistake from days ago starts replaying like it still needs to be solved. The room is quiet, but somehow your mind becomes noisy. I know this feeling very well. There are nights when my body is ready to sleep, but my thoughts keep opening one folder after another. For a while, I treated this as a sign that I was carrying too much stress, or that I simply did not know how to relax. But the more I paid attention to it, the less it felt like a failure of willpower. This nighttime noise may be less about something being wrong with us, and more about the mind finally finding a quiet space to process what the day left behind. During the day, our attention is occupied by the outside world: messages, work, people, noise, movement, small decisions. There is always something asking the mind to look outward. In a way, this keeps us busy enough not to notice everything that is still unresolved inside. But at night, those external inputs begin to disappear. The room becomes darker. The phone is put down. The body stops moving. No one is asking us to respond. And when the outside world becomes quiet, the mind finally has space to notice what was left unfinished. It starts sorting through emotional leftovers: a sentence we did not fully understand, a reaction we are not sure about, a task we forgot, a future problem that has not arrived yet. This does not mean the brain is trying to hurt us. In many ways, it is trying to organize information. It is trying to prepare, protect, and make sense of the day. But because there is no longer any noise from the outside world, these background processes feel much louder than they did before. The mind was not silent during the day. We were just too busy to hear it. At night, we are not only tired in the body, we are also tired in the part of the mind that usually keeps things in perspective. During the day, if a small worry appears, we may be able to say, "I can think about this later." But at 2 a.m., that filtering system becomes weaker. A small uncertainty can feel like a serious problem. A vague worry can feel very urgent. A tiny mistake can start to look like evidence that something is wrong with us. This is one reason nighttime thoughts can spiral so quickly. One thought pulls another thought with it. Why did I say that? Did I sound strange? What if they misunderstood me? What if tomorrow goes badly? What if I cannot handle it? The mind begins scanning for danger, not because we are broken, but because this is one of the things the mind is designed to do. It tries to protect us by predicting what might go wrong. But the problem begins when this pattern repeats night after night. If the bed becomes the place where we worry, analyze, rehearse, and fight our own thoughts, the brain can slowly learn the wrong association. The bed stops feeling like a place of rest. It starts feeling like a place where the mind must stay alert. And once that association forms, the simple act of lying down can become a signal. Now, it is time to think. This doesn't mean we need to force the mind to become perfectly quiet. I'd say, when thoughts are looping, the gentlest response is not to argue with them. Instead of trying to defeat the worry, we can interrupt the chain. One simple method is to think of random, unrelated words: window, apple, train, cloud, spoon. The point is not the words themselves. The point is to stop giving the mind a logical thread to prove. This reminds me of an old practice in Japan: quietly repeating the Nembutsu, a Buddhist phrase often associated with wishing to be reborn in the Pure Land. Of course, that practice has its own religious meaning, but from a psychological point of view, I sometimes wonder if there is another quiet function hidden inside it. When we repeat the same simple phrase again and again, the mind has less room to keep chasing every passing thought. The phrase becomes a small anchor, not because it solves the problem, but because it interrupts the chain. A worrying thought survives by connecting itself to the next worry and then the next. When the chain becomes simple, repetitive, or random, the system loses some of its momentum. We are not shutting the mind down. We are simply helping it step out of problem-solving mode. But sometimes, even after that, the mind still doesn't settle. We get into bed, but our eyes stay open. In moments like that, one option is to stop trying so hard to sleep. We can get out of bed for a little while, sit in a dim room, and read something quiet. The reading itself is not the important part. What matters is the small decision not to keep thinking in bed, not to turn the bed into a place where we struggle with our own mind. That small separation helps the mind remember what the bed is for. The bed doesn't need to become another workplace. It can simply be a place where the day is allowed to end. Thank you for joining me in this observation today. Stay curious. I'll see you in the next observation.